Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. This first Friday of March 1st, 2024. This is NESSP at Night, and I am your host, Sonja Pearson. And I will have a special guest joining me shortly. But everybody, come on in, say hello, tell me how you're doing, how your day went. Are you excited that we are almost in spring? Coincidentally, it never got above 44 degrees here in Atlanta today. And in fact, it was 38 at noon and rainy all day for this first day of March. Tell me how the weather was in your neck of the woods. And while you're at it, in case you have not before, subscribe to my YouTube at Prim and Proper Sports. And for the Roku folks, download the Roku app and look for Northeast Streaming Sports. They have sports. We have sports 24/7 without the cost of cable. I hope everyone has had a fantabulous week. And as usual, we're going to talk some sports. Now, let me let y'all know the combine is off the chain. You know, there are hundreds of young men out there trying and vying to get into the NFL, and the top five slots have been secured. Those guys are fast. A lot of cornerbacks, a lot of DBs, all that kind of stuff, and they are getting it done right in the nick of time to be tried and true for these combine numbers coming up, breaking records, everything is going on. And I just got to let you guys know that these guys are super duper 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 fast. Now, there was a guy that was 366 pounds that we talked about yesterday that ran in 4 seconds. Now, I'm going to tell y'all, I'm nowhere near weighing that amount, but these guys are tried and true. The cornerback position, the number one speed at the combine right now was by Nate Wiggins. He won that race, that record, 4.28 seconds, followed by Quinyon Mitchell, 4.33 seconds. Then you got DeCamarion Richardson, 4.34 seconds. Nehemiah Pritchett at 4.36 seconds. And then you got Daquan Hardy, at 4.38 seconds. Those guys are fast. And so the NFL, you guys are getting some real talent out there. Now, like I said, there's hundreds and the list goes on. There's like the top 40 some people that are listed with all under 5 seconds running. Now, unfortunately, Clemson's Nate Wiggins did injure himself running the 40-yard dash at the combine. He actually ran the fastest. I just told you who he was. He injured himself. So we're going to have to follow up later on to see just how significant that injury is. Will it impact anything? And those top seeds, Caleb Williams and company, they're not even participating in the combine. We may see a glimpse of one or more of them on the sidelines, but pretty much that's going to be all that we have. In fact, Marvin Harrison Jr. did not even appear for the NFL Combine press conference. Now, we don't know what that means. He's definitely projected to go in the top 10, maybe even higher. So these names and these numbers that are coming out, not even participating, he's like, I don't have to show you anything. The combine is for people who have to prove themselves. That's kind of what the word is out there. So we'll see how that goes. And we wish them all the best as they participate and compete to get in the NFL. Now, Fanatics CEO Michael Rubin addresses MLB new uniform debacle. Now, in case you have not heard, they have revamped the Major League Baseball uniform. And the guys are complaining that the pants are see-through. I meant to address this last week, but they're still going on and on and on about it. They're saying, these uniforms are supposed to be more comfortable for the athletes in any kind of weather. It gets extremely hot in baseball season, especially in the South and possibly even the West. And so these were supposed to be built for comfort, but the players are complaining. They're saying, hey, these pants are see-through, and you can imagine all the other stuff they're saying. So Fanatics is jumping on board because they're part of the design team there to see just what the issue is. Got a comment coming on here. Hi, Carolyn, Pantherette Carolyn. She says, Sonya, you're doing a great job keeping us informed. Hi, Miss Carolyn. Good to see you. Hope all is well in your neck of the woods. All right, y'all. Cam Newton got into this big brawl. We've talked about it all week. He got into a brawl at this 7x7 tournament. Well, Cam being the person he is, even though he was not the person that threw the first punch, He's come out and apologized for his role in that brawl. He said, hey, I should have set a better example. I know I have a following. And so I want to make sure that I'm always leading by example. And so for my role in all of this, I apologize. And for that, Cam, we salute you. And still can't seem to get all the deets about what happened. So if any of y'all happen to have the tea as to what all occurred with that hat being the MVP, then let us know. And good evening to everyone joining me on YouTube and watching on Roku as well. Let me put that banner up for all you all that are coming on that want to make sure you know how to download Northeast Streaming Sports. All right, moving along, and I'm going to have a guest that will be joining me here shortly, a reintroduced guest. Steelers great Andy Russell, Super Bowl winning linebacker, has passed away at the age of 82. He is definitely well known and well respected in the league, made big records, big hits everywhere. And so with that, we're definitely sending thoughts and prayers to his family. He will certainly be missed, but a life well lived at the age of 82. Andy Russell, Steelers great. Caitlin Clark, we talked about her yesterday, declaring for the WNBA draft after this season. Got a lot of comments after the show on that one in the inbox about how she could or could not be beneficial to the WNBA and what that meant for Iowa going forward with such a substantial loss. But who knows? And like I always say about the NFL, there is a bridge that has to be, basically connected between the professional world and college world. So it's going to be interesting to see how she comes into the league. Is she still going to be that bad girl image that we saw? And where her stats still look amazing like they have been, as we've seen in the last two occurrences with her with Iowa. Now the NFL is exploring optical tracking to potentially replace this whole chain gang thing that they got going on. Now, this is something that's going on with the league. They're talking about doing different things so that they can make sure that they have everything up and running the way they want to, but to potentially replace what's known as the chain gang. All right. The Giants, New York Giants news for you guys. Darren Walker is going to be returning to the Giants, and then will be not considering retiring anymore. In case you guys kept up with the news in the off season or towards the end of the season, we always have these players that are kind of hinting around retirement. Jason Kelsey is another one with Philadelphia. The list goes on. These greats that get to where they are and see that their team that they're with are not performing optimally enough to get them a championship, they kind of sometimes get tired and decide, hey, we're out. So he says he's coming back. We'll look forward to seeing him back in the OTAs and subsequently with the new season coming up. Now, I'm going to tell you, my guest is coming up is going to be talking a little bit about USC basketball. She's a huge Dawn Staley fan and South Carolina fan. But in the meanwhile, I'm going to be talking about the rest of the news that is going on. No one ever expects the March Madness brackets that are coming up. Everybody's kind of trying to secure what that will look like for them. If you are not sure, just like all the other professional sports have done this entire season, March Madness will not disappoint. I gave you guys the seeds a couple of days ago. Go back and watch those shows so that you can go ahead and get your bracket solidified. But it's been predicted that it may come down between Duke and Carolina once again. I always hate that because Duke is my team, and it's going to cause some rivalries between a lot of folks in the Carolinas and including in my own family as we see just who is meant to be in the Final Four. All right. Now, we know now that a lot of teams are going to be shopping around in the free agency for players in the league, I should say. And that's going to be interesting to see because a lot of teams, I should say, are facing cap limitations. We talked about that last night. And in fact, there was a 34% increase this year in the league of teams going over their salary cap space. Unfortunately, what that usually means is that good players will have to take a pay cut or entertain the option of being traded. Speaking of being traded, we're almost at the finale to see where Justin Fields ends up. His agent has now tweeted on social media hints about him coming to Atlanta. Somebody screaming in the background of a meme, "Are you ready to go home?" Justin Fields is a Georgia native from right outside Atlanta, and the Falcons have been shopping for a quarterback, but so have the Giants for all intensive purposes. And there's a couple other teams out there that may be just looking for their quarterback in a niche. We will see how this goes because it's going to be one of those things that we just literally have to wait and see. Speaking of waiting and seeing, Jim Harbaugh now back in the NFL. His former players at Michigan are sharing strange stories about him, things about locker room secrets and what have you, and how the whole Michigan fiasco went down with them consistently being investigated. But that will need to be said. And Caleb Williams is not thinking beyond him being chosen number one. So he has it. This is a quarterback saturated draft coming up. He has it in his head that he's going number one or bust. In fact, he doesn't even see himself as going number two. And there are some, critics out there that are basically saying Caleb may be wrong on this, but the majority of us do feel like he will go number one. In fact, it's been projected that he may even go to Chicago with that number one pick, and they will, in fact, sever ties with Justin Fields. So we will be staying tuned for that. I cannot wait for the draft now that we're in March. That's literally right around the corner, and I cannot wait. Speaking of drafts, here at NESSP, the network, we will be having a draft party. Mac, Jack, myself. He's going to have a few other people and their teams represented, especially we could try to get someone from the Bears. There's a gentleman from the Bears show. We definitely need his take because with that number one pick, that's going to create a lot of hype. So what they don't need to do is get rid of that pick before the draft because the hype continues. And, once you kind of reveal what's going on, the thrill is gone. Everybody figures it out and you keep it moving. But that's how it goes. And speaking of moving around, looks like the Saints are actually going to be cutting their cornerback May as another cap move. Now, I told you all that there's a lot of teams that have cap space that they need to free up. And so that's what they will be doing like immediately. Like no one's waiting around. There's going to be big names that are cutting players left and right. Speaking of not cutting, I'm kind of bleeding over a little bit into NBA news. Congratulations to Steph and Aisha Curry. They are expecting their fourth child. The Curry legacy continues. Riley's getting another younger sibling. And Sports Center announced this on their social media earlier today. And congratulations to Steph and company. And with that, I am going to introduce to some and reintroduce to others my guest, the one, the only, the special return of guest Pink Panther, elite super fan of the Carolina Panthers. Hi, Pink. How are you?
How are you doing? Happy Friday, Miss Sonia. How are you
Happy Friday.
doing?
Happy Friday. We've been waiting on you. I love the gear. You are in full gear, and those glasses are hot. So,
Thank you.
Pink, yes, Pink, tell us a little bit about you for people who did not get a chance to know who you were the last time, because I'm introducing you to some of the audience members that may have missed the special treat a couple of weeks ago when you were on.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever side of the world you coming from. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for this invite, Sonia. I really missed it. We had such a good time last week, and I appreciate you inviting me back. I am Pink Fanfur. That is my persona and super fan name for the elite super fans of the Carolinas, as well as the elite super fans incorporated. And so we basically thrive in just being a super fan of our favorite team. And so what we do is we dress up and we come in full costume and we fellowship, we have fun, we go to all the games, we take pictures, videos, and we root our favorite teams on. Win, lose, or draw. That's what we do. And we are number one in the fanism and fanatic. That is what we do. So I am so happy to be here tonight with you. I'm excited.
I am excited too. In fact, I've been thinking about for a while now coming up with a certain costume for myself. Just because, Carolina Panthers CEO, people often have asked me, well, what is your, you just show up with your Panthers gear on, but you don't have like any ears or anything. And I'm like, I'm going to have to talk to Pink about that because she's the one. And when I sent you the email today, I saw you have the whole spiel. Like, listen, we specialize in fans of all teams and getting their gear together. Panthers are your team. You're a fan of them, but you will, cater to anybody that needs their look together. So y'all reach out to her.
Yes.
We'll put it in the chat later on how you can reach out to her if you're interested in getting your fandom up, because clearly she has hers up all the way up. And also, thank you for your service. We know that you are a retired servicewoman. So thank you for your time in the U.S. Army. So congratulations on that. And you're a biker girl, right?
Yes, I am a biker girl, 15 years riding on twos.
Yes, and we did not talk about that last time, and that has to be a whole group of people that you are able to engage with and meet on a regular basis.
It is probably one of the most phenomenal times of my life. Going in 2002, riding on, I used to just ride on the back of someone's bike for 2 years. And then I said, no, I really want to do this. I really want to feel what it's like to be on twos, And so in 2004, I just did it. I went and bought me a motorcycle, and I started riding with this crew in Columbia, South Carolina, called the Who Riders of Columbia, South Carolina. We got a lot of riding time, and so they taught me how to ride. I grew up with them. That is my motorcycle club, and so for 14, 15 years, we just were in the wind. It is probably one of the most invigorating things and vindicating things that any woman or female can do, and so it is an outstanding and amazing opportunity. So I would just say anybody who's looking to do that, I think that they should, because it's so, like I said, vindicating as a woman, and
freeing.
so super fun.
Yeah. So speaking of women, we are seeing a change across the board with women in sports. We're seeing women referees now in the NBA and the NFL. First, you have one. You got offensive assistants in Chicago with Miss King up there. Jennifer King is her name. She just got appointed to Chicago Bears. And so this is a time, like you speak about, being invigorating. We see more analysts, and then you see more of us being represented than ever. It's okay. And I think the introduction of Taylor Swift into the element of a team that has gone and won the Super Bowl literally transposed women's presence in the league. And just as fandoms, this is such an amazing time to be a fan of sports. In fact, the NFL reported there was a 47% increase of views of the Super Bowl. Now let's be clear. Some of that was because we were looking for Usher, but a lot of those, probably the 46%, were Swifties, and they have no idea what a field goal or 10-yard downs or anything or outsides. They have no idea any of that, but they were there to see how many times Taylor was going to be shown. So I'm here for it. If that's what it takes to get us, because somewhere right now, someone is somewhere Googling first downs and touchdowns, and they want to know more about the sport because they're looking for Kansas City to make a repeat run and Taylor to be there again. So they got to, come with their A game. They're going to use the off season to educate themselves about the game so that they can, not just look for the Swifty sighting, but they can know, oh, okay, Travis got that first down. Okay, he ran for that's a touchdown. Okay, oh, that's a penalty. Oh, now I see, and it's an art to it. I always tell people it's not just, running to the end zone. You got a lot of people that are fans just because of the cities they're from. They want to represent their cities. I know, because I used to be that fan. I just want to represent my city. I just want to represent my state. But then you only know if there's a touchdown. You have no idea what the penalties are. You have no idea anything. But now, and there's still so much more. Like, I think the best teacher is honestly Madden. So shout out to Madden. If you put it on stimulation mode and you go in there, you start to learn the game and then talk to somebody that knows the game. Because when players are signed, it's not just about physicality. It's about them being able to memorize and orchestrate those plays. So it's a technique to being an athlete. Besides, they got a 4.2 in a combine, or they got the most touchdowns in college. The NFL is a different animal.
It
So
is. It is.
so yeah, so thanks so much for joining me, Pink. Now, I did kind of give the audience a little preview. I was kind of stalling to get till you got here. I hope I wasn't saying too much when it runs back, but I wanted to know your take. So looks like, about the Cam Newton brawl came out. Cam looked like he was, attacked first, but we don't know the verbal part of the story. But Cam comes out today and he's like, you know what? Hey, I'm a professional. I'm sorry for my role in that, because at the end of the day, I have me to blame, so to speak. And, the real MVP, talking about MVP status, that Gandor hat did not move. I mean, I was impressed. I really think that Cam had flashbacks of 2015, because he literally dropped back out of the pocket and brought somebody with him. He was literally like playing for the Panthers again. So if anybody's out there looking to sign Cam, he still clearly is agile and he has the moves to fight off defenders. So he needs to come back to the NFL, y'all. But what were your thoughts, first of all, Pink, when you saw that? Because I know you're a Panthers fan, you're a Cam fan. We still love Cam. We're always going to love Cam. What were your thoughts when you your first thoughts before you got any indication as to what happened when you first saw or heard that this had occurred in Atlanta, of all places, his hometown?
In the A, and I was like, when I saw that, I had to take a second look. Wait a minute, hold on. What in the ham sandwiches is going on here? Like, I had to really go back and look at this. I only saw a clip of it, but then I was like, wait a minute. Now, who is this trying to attack my quarterback? Okay.
Right. It's always going to be ours.
Yeah, it was just a little clip. I'm like, okay, who's trying to attack our former MVP, league MVP, and like I said, I saw a clip, and I saw recently that it had well over 10 million views. And of course, like you said, per ESPN, he offered his apology for his take in, or his part in it. But it did look like to me, like, based on what I saw, now I can't judge the entire thing because I haven't seen it, but from what I saw, it looks like he was jumped by some thugs. No other way to say it is thugs. It's like, it looked like the people who did the jumping, like they were all in black and you couldn't identify their faces. They had their face covered. It was like, what's up with that? And so I do believe that he had a right to, defend himself if that's what he was doing. And so it's like, but I saw that hat did not come off. That feather did not come off. And it was like, I had a flashback of when, he would try to run the ball and everybody just seemed to want to jump on him. And he dragging all of these people down into the end zone. And so that's the flashback that I got when I saw that. I'm like, yeah, Cam, yeah, you know what?
Yeah, he used to drag him about 20 yards. Yes, he was dragging them about 20 yards. He's like, y'all want a touchdown? Let me show you how you get a touchdown. Because y'all dragging. Those were the years. And I showed that clip. It's such a short clip. It's only like 30 seconds. Did you see the 30 seconds of it, or you just saw something closer?
I saw about 30 seconds of it, and then I saw a repeat of it on ESPN, I think it was. And from what I saw, it started from the top of the stairs. And then he dragged them all around over there to the fence. I was like, okay, but before the step thing, I don't know what happened. I just know that I saw a whole bunch of people on our quarterback.
It's literally like it happened and somebody heard and got their camera out, their phone out, because they probably that's why we missed a large segment of it. I played it on here a couple of nights ago live, and I played it like 3 times because I didn't know whether to laugh because of how that hat was.
Cry.
Cam's got a lot of hair now. And so for him to have all that hair and that hat didn't move, I'm like, does he have hairpins in there? Was Gorilla Glue? What is that hat now part of his hair? Because it did not even wave. And he was under looking like Gandor. Like, I was like impressed. And then I was mad because I was like, you're in your own city. You're putting on an event for charity. And here we are that we have, someone attacking you. And hello to Kimberly Pope. She says Cam also said that words was exchanged. Okay, so she got the tea. So we know Cam has been attacked a few times by even little kids. Like, he was at some event in New Orleans And these little kids were so disrespectful. They were like, going on. He was like, he was like, where's y'all's dad? Where is your dad? I'm not your dad. So I could just see something like that happening, here. But in Atlanta, like you said, it's like this is your hometown. And so who knows? Like, but I think it was T.I. said it best, or somebody, these rappers always say it best, your hometown sometimes shows the most hate. But like you said, we can't identify who these people were. Somebody's out there talking about it. I guarantee you that on TikTok. And they'll figure it out. But APD got involved real quick, and that was pretty much the end of that. All right, everybody, download the Roku app and look for Northeast Streaming Sports, 24/7 sports without the cost of cable. I'm sitting down with the one and only Pink Fan Fur Elite Super Fan of the Carolina Panthers, my special return guest, aka just Pink. All right, so last week, or was it the week before, you had an opportunity to go see the great Dawn Staley in person at USC. They are riding high. Tell us about your experience. Tell us about your connection to USC and all that good stuff, Pink.
Yes, I tell you what, my connection to the University of South Carolina College of Social Work is my alma mater, because I graduated in 2001 with a master's degree, and so that's my connection. And I also used to supervise hundreds of students from the College of Social Work, so it's a little dear heart. It's dear to my heart, and forever to thee, to the University of South Carolina. And of course, I followed the University of South Carolina women Gamecocks. I mean, come on, who doesn't? I mean, like, they're the number one seed in the NCAA. I've always followed them, even when Aja was just a little baby girl playing for, for the high school in Columbia, South Carolina. So yeah, Thursday of last week, they played Alabama, which, believe me, I did not know they were playing Alabama, but they played the Crimson Tide. And yeah, I was there live, got to see, I wasn't on the front row or anything, but I was kind of really close to the floor. And so yeah, it was my first time ever getting to see my girls in play a live game, so I was excited. It was very electric, very, very crowded. I think they had they said 11, 12, 14,000 fans in there, maybe more. So they took care of the Alabama Crimson Tide. I believe the score was what? I don't remember what the score was, but they took care of the Alabama Crimson Tide, and they won the SEC championship. So I was there to witness the trophy.
Congratulations to them. Did you take pictures?
Absolutely. Took pictures and videos. So they had a presentation of the trophy, and Dawn Staley got another award because that they have reached the accomplishment of over 600 wins, and so that's a huge accomplishment for Dawn Staley and her girls. It's like she's brought that team so far, and she's put out some really good pro players for the WNBA. Of course, last year they went to, the Sweet 16, the Final Four, and of course, unfortunately and sadly, they were beat by, was it Iowa? And
Caitlin and company.
But they're headed into Greenville, so they're getting ready for the Sweet 16. But anyway, before I talk about the Sweet 16. So last night they went over to Fayetteville, Arkansas, and they took care of the Lady Razorbacks. The score was 98-61. So, and then I think they're heading to Tennessee on the 3rd. And so then after that, they're going to prepare for the Sweet 16 in Greenville, South Carolina, which I'm so excited because
that's your neck of the woods.
Yeah, I'm thinking about going to see the girls. Watching them is just so electric. And the best part of the game was we stayed a little. We were standing right there by Dawn Staley. I'm like, okay, why don't we get a picture of Dawn Staley? She was standing right in front of us, and it was like a lot of media around her. So we didn't want to feel like groupies or anything. So we just didn't hover over her, but we did get a few pictures and videos. But the best thing and the icing of the cake was, two things. I got to meet with my former company commander of the WTU Warrior Transition Unit Fort Jackson. So we got a couple pictures. Got to fellowship a little bit. And then the final piece of my experience was that we hung around after the game, and little did we know the players were out there. So needless to say, I did get quite a few pictures with the Gamecocks.
Are you able to show any of those to us? Could you hold up your phone?
I don't have them on my computer, but I mean, I can
Okay.
send them to you. You can post them later. I got photograph of the Camilla Cordozo. I don't know if you guys know who she
Oh,
is.
yes. Come on.
Chloe
Yes,
Kitts,
ma'am.
Ashlyn Watkins, and Tahina Paopao.
Oh, you got a picture of her?
Yes, ma'am.
So yeah, so you should have your phone on standby just to do this number for everybody, so we could all see. That is real big, Pink. That is real big, and that's exhilarating. And to know that they came off of a win like that. And you mentioned, Caitlin, who's just declared for the league, the WNBA. The WNBA is getting a lot of good talent thanks to Dawn. I wish I could meet her. Like, it'd be awesome to have her come on the show. I have, a lot of celebrities, including you, that come on here. I've got someone coming from Fox Sports next week that's going to be on here with me. I don't want to reveal his name yet. He's on a very big show, but he's going to be on with me next week. So I'm not, too out of it to not get Coach Staley as well. So if anybody's watching and knows her and has a plug, please let her know. I would love to have her on my show. I'm humbly requesting her to come on my show. So because I'm super proud of her and what she's done for the University of South Carolina, the Gamecocks. So what other Gamecock news you got for us? Or should I say, NCAA? Because I know you have a plethora of knowledge about that. We know that, and we know our Panthers. And so right now we're in this in-between time where we got March Madness coming up. We got ladies declaring for the WNBA out of college because we got all of that Sweet 16 coming up with that. We have spring training for the MLB. We have the conclusion and all the drama that's surrounding the NFL with free agency and the upcoming draft. And we have the NBA, which is making their final push for the playoffs. So this is an extremely busy time. It is, I know March Madness is the cliche for college, but it's March Madness in sports in general.
Absolutely. March Madness. All I can think about when I think about March Madness is back in the day, basketball. I mean, but yeah, you got it right. We got the combine. We've got, preparing for the draft. By the way, Pink Fan Fur will be at the draft this year too, as well. So,
I need to. So Pink Fan Fur, I might need to see if you can kind of like, I don't know, do a cameo on that night, because I'm going to be on the show. I've announced it earlier with Northeast Streaming Sports. We're doing a draft party where we're going to have someone representative that's getting the top drafts in any way. Now it's funny because I had to ask Matt. I was the producer. I was like, listen, I guess I'm not going to be on the show for a change because we don't have a draft. He's like, no, you can come on. I was like, oh, well, thanks. So if you're going to be there, I mean, maybe I can ride in your trunk and go with you. And then I can do like a little video or something like that. But seriously, congratulations again. What round are the Panthers even picking for the draft? Like, I'm confused right now.
I'm right there with you. I know we don't have a round in the first. We're going to have a pick in the first round.
First or second?
I do believe we have a round in the second at 30 something. I'm not certain.
I thought we gave that one away. The 30, I think it's the 31st pick in the second round. I thought we gave that one up, but you're probably right. I thought we were not picking it to the third round.
Yeah, so that would be on the second night. But I don't even know. It's a little confusing this year because all of those trades and things that we did last year and the things that's going on this year, I have no clue. All I know is we got to pick somewhere in the draft, and Pink Panther is going to be there to witness it.
Now, so tell us a little bit about, because I don't think a lot of people knew last year you were at the draft. Tell us about that experience, of course, who you had chosen and why you wanted that person chosen. And we've already seen your selfies of that person with you in the backdrop and other fans of that specific team. Tell us all about that, Pink.
If I had to describe being at the 2023 NFL draft in one word, it would be electric. And I was so humbled to have gotten that invite by the Carolina Panthers to be there to witness history, because, you know, as you well know, I'm an Alabama fan, and I
Yeah.
was hoping that they would pick Bryce Young, and of course they did pick Bryce Young. We got the red carpet treatment. We got into the inner circle. I mean, they basically treat you like royalty and everything, and it was so electric and exciting for me to be in the inner circle, to witness this history. I mean, it was like, well, of course, there was a million Kansas City fans out there, but of course, all of the 32 teams are there in the inner circle, and there are a lot of elite super fans that's dressed up and everything. It's just so exciting. But when they called the number one pick, of course, you know, they had all the camera people over there by us and everything. I actually chose my long PHS battle buddy, Kim Garner, to attend with me, because she's been rocking with me for a long time. And so I think that she's a good sport. She's actually a Giants fan, but she dressed up as a Panthers fan. So she's a good sport. Yeah.
She did have heart.
She did.
Yeah.
She is a
Congrats
great
and
sport.
shout out to her.
Yeah, shout out to Kim. So all the camera guys were around. It was a million camera people, and we just happened to be on the front row, of course. Which I had no idea. I had no idea they were gonna have.
I was texting you like, Pink, oh my God, I just saw you.
I know, it was like people were calling and texting me like, Pink, are you at the drive? Are you at the drive? I'm like, yes, I'm at the drive. And then, you know, they called my Bryce Young. Oh my God, I done lost it. I lost it. I literally lost. There's probably some video of me on the at the draft just looking crazy. Yeah, you know, I'm jumping all over the place and everything, but it was so exciting. And then, of course, after, you know, they bring him over to you. They bring him, you know, he came on with his entourage. I think they had like 12 or 13 security guards.
Wow.
They came over to where the Panthers were, because our job is to cheer.
Yeah.
It was like, oh my God, he's coming over here. He's coming over. He came over with all the security guys. He took a selfie with us, and it was just so super, like, I'm still reeling from it. And then guess who else I got to meet?
Who else? And good evening, Felicia.
NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell.
You got a chance to meet Roger Goodell?
Yes, and I have a photo to prove it.
Okay, so when you go this time, you have to represent the Panther Red. You have to wear your Panther Red shirt. And look, I'm still trying to figure out who you're taking, because you haven't revealed that yet. Now that I know you have an extra person to take, I'm really going to be like, ma'am, why am I not chosen? Are you kidding me? We have the same first name. It's just spelled differently.
Right. Whoever I take, they have got to bring it, okay, with their costumes. They got to bring it, because, you know, everybody's going to be costumed up. At least those super fans.
So maybe you could just, like, the person you take, and clearly I'm putting a bid in for myself, you can just make them over. If they don't know what to do, you can just make them over. And it's funny you mentioned how the whole super fan goes on, because I got an invite one year to go to Canton. I saw when Tony Dungy got inducted into the Hall of Fame, and it was through the whole super fans visa promotion with Sherry Penta and her husband, and they picked me up from the airport, and everything. The airport is super tiny. But when I tell you, I didn't see, you know, just seeing these NFL greats in the parade and going into the Hall of Fame and seeing the bust was electrifying for me. And that was the year that we were actually coming off of a really good season. We had just gone to the Super Bowl. And I think, let me see, go to the Super Bowl. We went to the Super Bowl and we lost, but the point was we were better than everybody else that was there, except for the only team that beat us. And I didn't run into that many Denver fans. And so, you know, for all intents and purposes, every picture I took, I was doing this. Like, we number one. If it's not a Denver fan in here with me, we number one. We runners up. You know, I mean, even though there's no runner up, there's no trophy for second place. And so I just remember just being around that weekend in Canton, the Hall of Fame, which is every first weekend in August in Ohio. This year, JP Julius Peppers will be going in as a Carolina Panther.
90.
Super excited. Number 90, Formula 90 going in there. Very well deserved. And so I'm going to be trying to figure out how to get back out some of these promos, and more importantly, at a minimum, maybe recording so that I can upload for my next show. If I can't do like a live out there, I can do it and have it just, you know, in my film box for when I'm on here, so we can share with the audience.
Absolutely.
So Bryce was chosen, and it's interesting. I want to get your take on where do the Panthers go from here? Because we don't have a draft. We need to get Bryce a lot of help. He's not anything that happened this season is not his fault. He came into a situation that was questionable. So where do the Panthers go? Like, is there anybody we can bargain and barter and steal with or whatever to try to get? I mean, we're already giving away picks even for 2025
Good
that
Lord.
we're playing for him. So I don't even know. We're going to have to start giving out, I guess, that 2030 pick to somebody.
You know, I love talking about my Panthers, but you know, I'm just at a loss of words right now because I'm like, I do know, and we all do know, that they do just need to give him the weapons that he needs, and he can be the extraordinary quarterback that he is. And I'm so tired of all these haters. They just don't know Bryce Young like we know Bryce Young. He needs a lot of help, like you said. I'm hoping we can get one of these fantastic, dynamic wide receivers, a couple of them at least. I mean, like, why can't we get somebody good for a change? You know what I mean?
Why don't we get one of these? Well, we can't get nobody from the combine because they're all going to be draft picks. But we need some wide receivers. T. Higgins is out there. You know, some of these good players, he got franchise, but they're saying the league is like 34% over their cap. Like a lot of teams are way over their cap. So I don't even know if they don't take a pay cut. We can't even get anybody from another team to come and help them out. We just gonna need, as they say, thoughts and prayers on this one.
We need an O line. We need protection. We need some guards. We do need a couple of wide receivers. I say Mike Evans is out there. Who else? There's maybe 10 good wide receivers that's out there. At least we can get somebody in the top 10. OBJ is out there. You know, I don't know if he would be a good fit, but hey, as long as he come and catch everything, you know what I mean?
We don't care about the off-field stuff. We just need him to come.
We just want him to catch everything.
Yeah. Speaking of, go ahead, Pete.
No, I was just gonna say I was trying to think who else was out there, but there's some top wide receivers out there. But like I said, we need some O-line. We need some help. And
I went through a list of players from other teams that may be released last night. 32, in fact, we can choose from them, but just depends on what we need and what we get. And unfortunately, I have some sad news to share about the Panthers. Former 2013, he was undrafted at first, but he got drafted later on. Craig Rowe dies at the age of 33 from colon cancer. And he's a former Michigan standout. He's actually set records in Michigan for playing the most consecutive games in Michigan history. Craig was 33 years old, and colon cancer is becoming very prominent in young people. So make sure you get your colon screenings. Don't even wait anymore to 50 or 45 or whatever they have. If you have a history in your family of that, or you know that you've possibly lived somewhere that may, have chemical plants or what have you, get those screenings. They are so very important. So we're definitely praying for his family. Like I said, he was drafted by the Panthers in 2013. He was released in 2014, but he was with our organization for a little while. So prayers for that family, and may he definitely rest in peace.
Amen.
All right.
Amen.
Yeah. So we are moving at our last little 15 minutes here, believe it or not, Pink. No, but we got these guys that have shown up, for the combine. Marvin Harrison Jr. said he ain't even showing up. He's not doing press conferences, nothing. And Caleb Williams is saying he don't have his eyes set on going anywhere but number one. What are your thoughts on that? Is he overrated?
Which one? Marvin Harrison or the
Marvin Harrison? I feel like he didn't even go to the presser. Caleb Williams, you're dealing with two supposedly powerful names that are going to go in the top 5. And so they're not even showing up for the combine. They're saying basically the combine is for people that have to prove something. Let's start with that. What are your thoughts on these, quote, elite names not going to the combine? Because if I remember correctly, I think Dak Prescott went to the combine, didn't he?
He did.
He was good. I mean, we have Tyreek Hill. Like, we have names that are really elite, and they participated. I think it's almost this generation. These millennials are changing the game all around.
I just hope it's not what I just hope it's not like this entitlement issue where they think that that they're so elite that they don't have to go to the combine. I mean, I think that going to the combine humbles a player and a potential draft pick. I mean, you don't have to prove anything. You just go out there and do what you do. You're not necessarily proving anything. You're proving it to yourself. But I don't know. I think that by glory standards, so to speak. Marvin Harrison Jr. we all know who he is. He is the son of the Marvin Harrison, who played.
Right. We got you. We know who you are.
We know who he is, but you still got to be humble and go out there and just do what you do. So I don't know. I think you're right. They're just kind of like thinking, okay, well, I am who I am, and I don't need to go to the combine. So it's like, don't get too far ahead of yourself, because I mean, you still got to humble yourself down and just kind of go out there and do what you do. I think I don't know why they won't go, but
rough. Right. It's just so rough to look at. We talk about the difference in college football now. It's literally a baby NFL. I think the whole NIL deal, the name and likeness, yes, they should have been getting paid, but these guys are getting paid like celebrity athletes at this point. Look at Shador Sanders. I mean, you out there to the point that Tom Brady has to tell you, slow your roll. And, yes, your dad is Deion Prime, but I just feel like Deion had kind of already established himself. And I think those young men are just too young to handle that type of celebrityism, that type of platform at this moment. And because, this generation is very materialistic. Like, we live in a social media era that everything is clicks and likes, just like Oregon's coach said. Everything is for the gram. Everything, like, you don't keep anything to yourself anymore. You can't even go somewhere and just take pictures and enjoy the moment. You got to hurry up and make sure you got a signal that you can post it. I know, because I'm guilty of it. I'm like, I got to post this right now. And then instead of waiting to get back to your hotel room or wherever you are traveling. So it's the same with these young men. Nick Saban bouncing up out of Alabama because he just did not like the whole name and likeness thing. He's like, listen, I'm old school. This is a lot. Deuces. And so I'm out. And I remember when that news broke, I thought it was like fake news. I was like, no, not Nick Saban.
Not to go. But no, he's borderline crying. Mm-hmm. Borderline crying. I'm like, hold on a second, Nick. Don't
end of an era. The end of an era. And Kirby Smart comes from the school of Sabanism. Mm-hmm. And, then you got Mike Vrabel in the NFL, who is right now jobless. And so you got all these people, these great names that you got to be like, wait a minute, slow your roll. We're doing so much for social media. We're not enjoying the sport. And the sport is changing, Pink. The sport is changing. All the sports are changing. They're changing from so many perspectives. You look at students now are, yes, LeBron came out of college early so that he could declare. Matter of fact, he didn't even go to college. He came straight out of high school. He was the McDonald's Player of the Year. I remember when he came out. Mm-hmm. Everybody's doing that now. Whether or not they're even that good, they just forfeit the college experience altogether. And you have them coming out for the money. And they're actually making just as much money. And why not? If you feel like you're not going to be able to perform on a professional level, why not keep that name and likeness? I know someone right now that I know them personally, signed on with an NFL team and is doing mega deals. I'm talking about Louis Vuitton promos, everything. And I'm like, can I just be a feature? You remember me when you were little? Like, can I just be a feature? I just need my face beat. Let me just be in the background on one of these so I can get a few coins and pay some bills. But they definitely have really changed everything, and everything is media based.
Mm-hmm. They don't come from the school we came from. I mean, I came from the school of Hard Knocks too, but we didn't grow up with social media, phones, or anything like that. And so
Thank God on some of it. Thank God.
Yeah. Like you said, for these young players coming out and getting ready for the professional leagues and things, I mean, it's a great place. It's a great time to be in the world of media. Like, social media is great, I guess, but it did just stop us from talking, basically. But again, I think it's changing. And like you said, even for the NFL, I think I read where they were changing some of the rules of the game as far as, tackling and things like that goes. I'm like, what the ham sandwich is going on here?
Almost flag football.
It's like we're paying all this money to go see these games, and you stopping them from doing exactly what they do, play.
Yeah, it's a lot. Everybody, I'm sitting down with the return guest of mine, super elite fan, pink fan fur of the Carolina Panthers. Excuse me. She's a super fan, and she's already told us she's going back to the draft. If she looks familiar, she was at the draft last year, y'all. And since the Panthers had the number one pick, I'm sure you saw her because everybody had their eyes glued to their screens to see if we were going to pick Bryce or CJ. So this is my celebrity guest for tonight. And we've just talked about so much here. What do you think? What do you think it coming up in this March Madness? Is it a good idea to have all these teams and sports blended at the same time? Do you think that's really good, or do you find yourself getting caught up in like, man, I'm gonna have to just DVR this and just not be on the internet because this score is going to be revealed? Or do I have time to just focus on one thing? Like it kind of gets a little busy.
It does get a little busy, and I mean, there's a lot going on, and I do think it's a good opportunity to have different things going on because it just gives a little bit more variety. Like, back in the day, it was just basketball. Now we're like looking at other things. I'm even still watching the NCAA gymnastics and things like that, and they've got their championships and stuff coming up. So I like to go between the gymnastics and the women's basketball, of course, and then of course when the basketball in NBA they start playing. I like to watch my particular team. I don't watch every single team out there because I just get bored a little bit, but I do like to watch them when they get into the playoffs. So I do think that's just a great opportunity to have a little bit of variety, just to kind of, let me flick the channel and do this, and let me flick the channel and do that. So I think it's fun. I mean, it's exciting.
It keeps you entertained at a minimum. Like you never get bored because you can always find something on, or you just binge watch all your shows. Now we saw that Nate Wiggins got hurt. Now he had like the fastest 40-yard dash time today, but he hurt himself at the combine. And that's another thing. It's been questioned and posed out there. Is the combine really necessary? Because it is easy to get yourself hurt. We've seen people get hurt to the point that they cannot even go into the draft anymore because what has happened with them. Nate had a time of 4.28 seconds. I don't even know how to break the second part down. You say 4.28. He's a cornerback. He's from Clemson, and he was heck of fast. And I mean, he hurt himself. He's so fast that he hurt himself. Is it really worth the combine, or should it be kind of like how you were talking about back in the day, where you just had your stats, you had scouts that came out and looked and saw what you were working with, and you moved on from there? Is the combine really necessary?
That's a good question. I mean, not a lot of people tune into the combine, I don't think. I mean, I don't think it has like these crazy ratings or anything, but I think that the players do look forward to it. I mean, it's kind of like a double-edged sword. They do look forward to it, and then of course, you got all the coaches and the scouts looking forward to it as well. I mean, but again, they've got to go in there just like prepared. Hurting yourself is just part of the game, part of the combine, part of just going out there and trying out. It's not that everybody needs to get hurt or anything, but it happens, whether or not they need it or not. I don't know. I mean, early on, I thought it was maybe kind of like a meat market or something, but I'm kind of like neutral about it. I just think that they need to be well prepared for anything, and prayerfully, hopefully, it's not going to anything sustaining, anything serious to keep them from like moving on. So it's a good question.
Yeah, it is. It is a lot. And as we're wrapping up here, I have some breaking news, about 4 headlines of it, and I'll get your take on this, Pink. So we talked about Caleb Williams a little bit. He's not only thinking he's going to the Bears, but he's going to get the number 1 job. So he wants to go there, and he wants the number 1 job. And I always say where there's smoke, there's fire. So he may just be going there. I mean, that would mean Justin Fields is definitely out. This is according to Mike Florio.
You never know what to expect in the draft these days. I mean, usually Who's so the Bears got the number one? Who's got the number one pick? The Bears?
You know the Bears do. They got it from us.
So they got it. There's some predictions out there, like you said, but I don't know. Because they're not my team, if the Bears were my team, I'd be able to kind of speak on a little bit, but you got to be a little bit surprised.
Right.
I have no idea. Everybody's got their own predictions and things like that.
Yes.
I hope that he does get to go where he wants to go, actually. So
now the Patriots just released J.C. Jackson 3 hours ago. We're talking about teams that are doing a lot of releasing to free up some cap space.
Hot off the press.
Hot off the press. And we got this realty. Now, McCall Hardman, the Super Bowl, not the MVP, but, he scored the winning touchdown in the Kansas City win over the 49ers. McCall Hardman was a Jet, and it's come out that he has been leaking game plans to opposing teams during his time with the Jets. Now, he played 5 games for the Jets last season, but otherwise played his entire career with the Chiefs. He was believed by some in the Jets organization to have leaked game plans to opposing teams during his time with the Jets. Now, today he came out on social media and he said, "I did no such thing." He quoted saying there were false accusations made about me and my character. And he put it in all caps. He said, "To set the record straight, I would never leak game plans to another team. I have never been a person to give an opponent an upper hand. I always want to win no matter the circumstances." Now, his agent had come out and previously denied that he leaked game plans, but some people in the Jets organization still do not believe him, and they think that he told the Chiefs and the Eagles what was coming before those games played the Jets. And even though he did get that game-winning touchdown in overtime to propel the Kansas City Chiefs to their Super Bowl 53 victory, he's going to be approaching free agency. He wants any teams that are interested in signing him to know that he's still a safe bet and he can be trusted. So that was interesting because I did not know that. Now, to know that you actually gave an opposing team anything is kind of like the whole Kyle Shanahan. Falcon fans, that was their former offensive coordinator who going into their Super Bowl decided to leave his bag with the playbook supposedly at the airport. New England wins the Super Bowl. Falcon fans are over the top angry because they feel like that the Patriots somehow got their playbook and then just conveniently returned. I mean, it was missing for like a while. Like it wasn't a couple of days. I mean, a couple of hours. It was like, I think a day or something that book was missing. So you had time to go and Xerox and do all you needed to do Super Bowl weekend. So they feel like that's why, that he cannot win a Super Bowl because it's the Shanahan curse because of what he supposedly did to the Falcons. They knew that he knew he was going to the 49ers. He already had his job. And it was probably, in his mind, we're going to win the Super Bowl or maybe not. I'm going to go to the 49ers. So to that same thing, Falcon fans are now saying, if the 49ers had beat the Kansas City Chiefs, the Shanahan curse would have been broken. And they feel like Atlanta as well can have good karma coming into their Super Bowl. But who knows? It's even if they get back to the playoffs. But if they get that quarterback, it's anticipated they may be the ones that we got to watch out for, Pink.
Well, we always got to watch out for Atlanta in the South. I mean, and furthermore, you talking about the Patriots. They didn't need no playbook to win that game. Come on now. Come on, somebody. They did not need anybody's playbook to win the game. They were destined to win that game. They were marked to win that game. They was fixed to win that game. Just like the Broncos were fixed and marked and destined.
Yeah, we did. Ooh, that's gonna be a sore subject for me forever. I probably will never watch that entire game. But Pink, that's all our time we got. It's been great having you on again. Everybody watch the replay if you're just coming on because we've had a great time. And Pink Fanfare, you have an open invitation to come back anytime. Everybody, have a great night. Thanks for joining us and coming on. Good night.
Let's go.
This is Northeast Streaming Sports.